Hello and good day, Algebra. We're starting Unit 5 with scatter plots, CO36. And by show of hands, before we start recording, it kind of sounds like scatter plots are something you've talked about before, used before, so this might be a good opportunity for review today. But our goal today is to create a scatter plot. And usually, pre-COVID, I would give each of you one of those long bendable measuring tapes they use in like costume shops and all that stuff, and you'd measure each other's height and wingspan, which is from fingertip to fingertip with your arms outstretched. However, it's tough to do that and be 6 feet apart, so instead I'd a kind of punt. You'll get why that's funny in a little bit, and do something else. And what we're going to look at are the some data from this past season's NFL standings. And what we're going to talk about is compare points scored, which that column PF stands for points for, with games won. Okay? And we're going to look for a relationship, because that's what scatter plots really show us. It's a way to display data that shows if there is a relationship between two sets of things. So for starters here, and I want us all to do this all together, okay, so that our scatter plots look the same. So if you started to fill in your scatter plot axes, stop, because I want them all to look exactly the same, okay? So we're going to start by crossing out height, because we're not using that, and crossing out wingspan, because we're not using that. And our first order of business is to label our x-axis and our y-axis. And when you label a scatter plot, remember I said we're kind of looking for that relationship. What affects the other? Does points you score affect the number of games you win? Yes. Or does the number of games you win affect the points you score? Which one kind of causes the other? What's the cause? What's the effect? Brent? Right. So we're going to label our points scored as our x-axis here. Okay, and our y-axis is going to be games won. All right. Now we have to put some units here, right? So when we go back to our data and we look down the line of points for that PF column, tell me what you see the lowest and highest numbers are as we scroll through here, that points for column. Lowest and highest. Pick them out. There's a 280, that's not very good. Packers, 509. Thataway. Must have gotten far. Okay, 400s, 300s. There's another 500. The Mighty Jets. Okay. What was the lowest total that you saw there? The Mighty Jets. Okay, at 243. So if that's going to be our first our first point on that x-axis, that first value, are we going to want to start our x value at 0? No. Okay. What would be kind of a good starting point, do you think? A good starting value, Quinn? 240, sure. So let's put 240 down here in the corner for points scored, the x-axis there. And the highest one that I saw was 509 by the much mightier Green Bay Packers. Okay, so we know that we're going to have to get up to about that 510 range. So what do you think we should count by? What should we go by hundreds? Tens? Tens might be a little bit squeezed in there. 25 would be good, but we're starting at 240, and it's kind of tough to add 25 to 240. I mean, it's not like 25, 50, 75, 100. I heard someone say 20s. I think that would be probably our best option here. So we're going to try and eyeball this. I took a whole class on this in teacher college, how to accurately divide a segment. So let's see if I learned anything. 240, 260, 280, 300, 320, 340, 360, 380, 400, 420, 440, 460, 480, 500, 520. That was pretty good. I'm fairly impressed. Okay. I'm going to label my points in here. Do the best you can. You know, we are just freehanding this. And like I said, I took a whole semester on just dividing segments. So starting at 240, going up to 520, counting by 20s. And then when we get to our y-axis here, there's a lot less than 240 games in a season, right? So we're going to start at 0 here. And does it make a lot of sense for us to count by 20s? No. What are we going to count by on the y-axis? 1. Is that okay to count by different increments on one axis compared to the other? Yes. Okay. Since they're different axes, it's all right. On our x-axis, we wouldn't want to start counting by 20s and then count by 50s and then drop to counting by 10s, right? If we're consistent on the x-axis, we're consistent on the y-axis going up to 16. Now, here's a nifty trick to help you accurately divide your y-axis, especially since we're going up to 16. We can divide this in half. It's a lot easier to divide something in half than it is, count all the way up to 16 like that. And then between your 0 and 8, divide that in half. That'll be 4. And you continue to do that. Divide 0 and 4 in half. There's your 2. Divide 4 and 8 in half. You get 6. Right? And then you kind of do the same thing from 8 to 16. Divide it in half for your 12. And then 10. Then 14. And fill in the missing pieces. Okay. So far, I actually did better on my x-axis when I just winged it than my y-axis when I tried to make it even. So don't listen to you. Oof, no, don't listen to me. You haven't figured that out by now. Okay. So if you've got your device, okay, you can go to NFL.com/standings or NFL.com and click on standings here. I was going to click on it, I don't want to do that. So NFL.com/standings. You can share. Or NFL.com and click on standings. Note to NFL.com, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Kevin Schultz, SVDP. Okay. And starting at the top here, we'll do the first couple together. Again, we are looking for that points for column, PF, and the wins column. Okay, where points for is our X coordinate and wins is our Y coordinate. Now there are 32 teams, so when all said and done, you should have 32 points on your scatter plot. So for the Seahawks, folks, they scored 459 points and they won 12 games. Now on our scatter plot, that represents the ordered pair, 459, 12. You don't have to write every ordered pair out. I'm just going to do it just so you can kind of get you going here. But you're plotting the point 459, 12. So that's going to be right about 460. And 12 is up here. So looks like right about there-ish. Okay. 459 on the x-axis, 12 on the y-axis. That's where our first point is going to go. Then we look at the next team, which is the Rams. The Rams scored 372 points and won 10 games. So 372.10 is the order pair that we are going to plot. So 372 is about halfway between 360 and 380. Up to 10, go right about there or so. Okay? And don't be too hard on yourself if it's not perfect. You know, we are just freehanding this. But you're going to go through each team and plot that point representing the number of points scored and then the number of games that that team won. Any questions on that? Emily?
What site is it?
NFL.com. It's spelled NFL. And then from there, click on standings. It's up on the top ribbon.
Oh, found it.
Got it? Okay. All right. This is your only homework for tomorrow. You don't need to do anything below the scatter plot. We will tackle that tomorrow. So just come tomorrow with your scatter plot finished. Okay. 32 teams, yes. 32 teams. Just come tomorrow with your scatter plot finished, and that's all I'm requiring of you. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, comments, congratulations, or criticism? Soybe. There are 32 teams, so you should have 32 points when all is said and done. The Vikings are on there. They're more towards the bottom of the standings, but they're on there. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Okay, folks, that's all you've got for me. That's all I've got for you. That's how you math.